Welcome to Dream Tales Sleep Stories. Tonight's reading is The Last Valley. Settle into your bed or sofa and let your shoulders, jaw, and eyelids grow heavy. Inhale slowly, 1, 2, 3, and sigh the air away, allowing the day to fade into quiet dark. With every soft inhale, you invite fresh English phrases. With every gentle exhale, stray thoughts drift farther off. Behind my voice flows a gentle melody, renowned for guiding the mind toward deep relaxation. Keep your eyes closed, or follow the captions, whichever feels right. Simply receive the rhythm and resonance of the language. Deep in rest, tonight's phrases will take root like seeds, ready to bloom into stronger English skills with the morning light. When you feel settled, hold that unhurried breath and allow yourself to drift into the tale. The Last Valley begins now. And when the story's final line has faded, the music will linger a little longer, carrying you gently deeper into sleep. The Last Valley. Kira was a 17-year-old girl who lived in a place that most people would never believe existed. Her home was a hidden valley surrounded by tall mountains where humans and dinosaurs lived side by side. She had never known any other life, and neither had her parents or grandparents. This valley was all they had ever known. Every morning, Kira woke up to the sound of dinosaurs calling to each other across the valley. Some were as small as chickens, running through the tall grass looking for insects. Others were as large as buildings, their long necks reaching up to eat leaves from the tallest trees. The people of the valley had learned to live peacefully with these ancient creatures, understanding their habits and respecting their space. Kira lived with her grandmother in a small house built into the side of a cliff. Her parents had died when she was young, killed by a sudden rock slide during a storm. Her grandmother, whose name was Elder Maya, was the oldest person in the valley and knew more about their history than anyone else alive. One evening, as they sat by the fire, Kira asked her grandmother a question she had been thinking about for weeks. "Grandmother, why do we live here? Why don't we explore beyond the mountains?" Elder Maya looked at her granddaughter with wise, tired eyes. "Our ancestors came here long ago, running from a great danger. They found this valley and discovered it was protected by the mountains. The dinosaurs here are mostly peaceful because they have everything they need. But beyond these mountains, child, there are creatures far more dangerous than anything you have seen here." "But how do you know?" Kira pressed. "Has anyone ever left the valley and returned?" "No one who has left has ever come back," her grandmother said quietly. "And that tells us everything we need to know." Kira wanted to argue, but she could see the sadness in her grandmother's eyes. She knew that her grandmother's own brother had left the valley 30 years ago, searching for other human communities. He had never returned. The valley was home to about 200 people, living in small groups scattered throughout the area. They grew vegetables in gardens, caught fish from the river, and hunted smaller dinosaurs for meat. Life was simple but good. Everyone worked together, sharing what they had and helping each other survive. Kira's best friend was a boy named Tam, who was 18 and worked as a scout. Scouts were the bravest members of the community, responsible for watching the valley's boundaries and warning people about dangerous dinosaurs approaching their settlements. One afternoon, Tam came running to Kira's house, his face pale with worry. "Kira, you need to come with me. There's something at the northern boundary that you have to see." They ran together through the forest, past the familiar landmarks Kira had known all her life. When they reached the northern edge of the valley, Tam pointed up at the mountain wall that had always protected them. "Look," he said, his voice shaking slightly. Kira gasped. There was a large crack in the mountain wall, and through it, she could see movement. Huge shapes were moving on the other side, much larger than any dinosaur in their valley. "It started appearing 3 days ago," Tam explained. "The crack is getting bigger. Some of us think it was caused by the earthquakes we felt last month. If it continues to grow, those creatures will be able to enter our valley." Kira felt a chill run down her spine. She had heard stories about the giant carnivorous dinosaurs that lived in the outer lands, creatures with teeth as long as her arm, and an appetite that could never be satisfied. That night, the Council of Elders called an emergency meeting. All the adults in the valley gathered in the central clearing, lit by dozens of torches. Elder Maya stood at the center, along with the other elders, their faces grave. "We face a serious threat," Elder Maya began. "The northern wall is breaking. We must decide what to do. Some believe we should prepare to defend ourselves here. Others think we should leave the valley and search for a new home." The crowd erupted in arguments. Some people were angry, saying they had lived here for generations and would not abandon their homes. Others were frightened, arguing that staying would mean certain death if the large carnivores entered the valley. Kira listened to all the arguments, but one thought kept running through her mind. Her grandmother had mentioned that their ancestors came here running from danger. That meant they had traveled through the outer lands and survived. If it was possible then, perhaps it was possible now. She stood up, her heart pounding. "May I speak?" The crowd fell silent, surprised that someone so young would address the council. "Our ancestors traveled through dangerous lands to reach this valley," Kira said, her voice steady despite her nervousness. "They survived that journey. Perhaps there are other safe places out there, other valleys like ours. Instead of waiting here for danger to come to us, why don't we send scouts to search for a new home? If they find nothing, we can prepare to defend ourselves. But if they find another safe place, we would have a choice." The elders looked at each other, considering her words. Finally, Elder Maya spoke. "It is a dangerous proposal. Who would be brave enough to volunteer for such a mission?" "I will go," Kira said immediately. "No," her grandmother said sharply. "I have already lost too many people I love. I will not lose you too." "Grandmother, you taught me that our ancestors were brave. You taught me that we must do what is necessary to survive. If I can help find a safe place for our people, I must try." Tam stood up as well. "I will go with her. As a scout, I know how to avoid danger and read the signs of the land." 2 other scouts, a brother and sister named Ren and Mira, also volunteered. After much discussion, the council agreed to let them go. They would have 2 weeks to explore the lands beyond the valley and return with their findings. The next 3 days were spent preparing for the journey. The community gave them supplies, weapons, and advice. Elder Maya taught Kira everything she knew about the old stories of the Outer Lands, including landmarks that might help them navigate. On the morning of their departure, the entire community gathered to see them off. Kira hugged her grandmother tightly. "Come back to me," Elder Maya whispered. "That is all I ask." "I promise," Kira replied, hoping it was a promise she could keep. The 4 young people climbed up a narrow path that led through the mountains, going higher than any of them had ever been before. When they reached the top and looked back, the valley spread out below them like a green jewel surrounded by gray stone. Then they turned and looked at what lay ahead. The Outer Lands were vast and terrifying. Endless forests stretched to the horizon, broken only by rocky plains and distant mountains. And everywhere they looked, they could see dinosaurs. Hundreds of them, some flying overhead, others moving in great herds across the plains. "We should move carefully and stay hidden as much as possible," Ren suggested. He was the oldest of the scouts and had the most experience. "We'll travel during the day and find safe places to hide at night." For the first 2 days, they moved through the forest at the edge of the mountains, trying to stay out of sight. They saw many dinosaurs, but most ignored them. Kira learned that the key to survival was understanding each creature's behavior. The large plant eaters were not dangerous unless you startled them or got between a mother and her babies. The smaller meat eaters were more curious, but could usually be scared away by loud noises and fire. On the 3rd day, they discovered something unexpected. In a clearing beside a stream, they found signs of human presence: stone tools, the remains of a fire, and footprints in the mud. "There are other people out here," Mira said, her eyes wide with excitement. They followed the tracks, moving cautiously. As the sun began to set, they saw smoke rising from behind a hill. Approaching carefully, they climbed to the top of the hill and looked down. Below them was a small settlement, much different from their own. About 50 people lived there, but their houses were built in the trees, high above the ground. Wooden bridges connected the tree houses, creating a village in the canopy. As they watched, a group of children played on one of the bridges, while adults worked below, tending to gardens built in large baskets hanging from the trees. What amazed Kira most was that several small dinosaurs moved freely among the people, seemingly tame. "They've learned to live with them differently than we have," Tam whispered. "They've gone up into the trees, while the dinosaurs stay on the ground." Ren was about to suggest they approach the village when Mira grabbed his arm. "Look," she said urgently, pointing to the east. A pack of carnivorous dinosaurs was moving through the forest toward the village. These were not the giant ones they had seen from the valley, but they were still dangerous. Each one about the size of a horse, with sharp claws and teeth designed for killing. The people in the village had not seen them yet. The dinosaurs were approaching from downwind, using the trees as cover. "We have to warn them," Kira said, already moving down the hill. "Wait," Ren called, but Kira was already running. She burst out of the forest, shouting, "Danger! Predators coming from the east!" The village people froze in surprise, staring at this stranger who had appeared out of nowhere. Then, they heard the distinctive calls of the hunting pack and sprang into action. Everyone grabbed the nearest child and scrambled up the rope ladders to the tree houses. The tame dinosaurs scattered in panic. The carnivores burst into the clearing just as the last person reached safety. The predators circled the trees, looking up hungrily at the people above. Kira and her companions had climbed into a tree as well, and they watched nervously as the hunters prowled below. One of the tree-dwelling people, a woman with gray hair and kind eyes, called across to them. "Thank you for the warning. You saved lives today. When these creatures leave, please come to the central platform. We should talk." The predators stayed for nearly an hour before finally giving up and moving on to search for easier prey. When it was safe, Kira and her friends crossed the bridges to the central platform, where they met the leader of the tree village. Her name was Senna, and she listened with great interest as Kira explained where they came from and why they were traveling through the outer lands. "Your valley sounds wonderful," Senna said when Kira finished. "We would love to live in such a place, but we have never found anywhere so protected. We have survived here for 3 generations by staying in the trees and learning which dinosaurs can be trusted." "You mean those small ones that were here before?" Mira asked. "Yes," Senna smiled. "We call them helpers. They eat insects and small animals, and they warn us when predators are near. In return, we protect their nests and share our food with them. It took many years to build this trust, but now they are part of our community." Kira was fascinated. "We never thought to make friends with the dinosaurs. We just avoid them or hunt them. Every community finds its own way to survive," Senna replied. "But I am glad you came here. We have been alone for so long, thinking we were the only humans left in the world. It is good to know there are others." They talked late into the night, sharing stories and knowledge. Senna drew maps showing other places she had heard about from travelers who had passed through years ago. One location particularly interested Kira: a valley to the south, protected by a ring of ancient volcanoes that no longer erupted. The traveler who told me about it said the land there was rich and fertile, with hot springs that kept the valley warm, even in winter, Senna explained. But he also warned that it was already inhabited. He did not know if the people there were friendly or not. The next morning, Kira and her companions prepared to continue their journey. Senna gave them supplies and advice about the safest routes to travel. "When you find your new home, please send word back to us," Senna asked. "Perhaps someday our communities can live closer together, help each other. We are too few to remain separated." Kira promised they would, and the 4 travelers set off toward the south. The journey to the volcanic valley took 5 more days. They traveled through forests and across plains, always watching for danger. They learned to recognize the different calls and behaviors of various dinosaurs. They discovered which plants were safe to eat and which streams had clean water. On the afternoon of the 5th day, they smelled sulfur in the air and knew they were getting close. They climbed a rocky ridge and finally saw it, the Valley of Volcanoes. It was even more beautiful than Senna had described. 5 old volcanoes formed a perfect circle around a lush valley. Steam rose from hot springs scattered throughout the land. The valley was slightly smaller than their home, but the soil looked rich, and they could see fruit trees and flowing streams. And there were people there. Kira counted at least 100 houses built in clusters around the central area. "How do we approach them?" Tam asked nervously. "They might not welcome strangers." "We walk in openly and peacefully," Kira decided. "We have nothing to hide. We'll explain our situation and hope they understand." They descended into the valley, and it wasn't long before they were spotted. A group of armed men and women approached them, looking suspicious but not immediately hostile. The leader of the group was a tall man with a scarred face. "Who are you?" he demanded. "How did you find this place?" Kira explained their story once again, telling him about their valley, the breaking wall, and their search for a new home. The man listened carefully, his expression unreadable. "My name is Drake," he finally said. "I am the head of the Defense Council here. Your story is interesting, but I cannot make decisions about whether you can stay. That is up to our chief counsel. Come with us, but know that we are watching you." They were brought to the center of the valley, where the chief council met in a large building made of stone and wood. There were 5 council members, and they questioned Kira and her friends for hours, asking about their valley, their people, and their intentions. Finally, the eldest council member, a woman named Arya, spoke. "We believe your story. We too came here running from danger many generations ago. We have built a good life here, but it has not been easy. The question is, what do you want from us?" "We don't want to take anything from you," Kira said honestly. "We just wanted to know if this place existed and if you might be willing to help us. Our valley can no longer support us safely. We need to find a new home, and we hoped that perhaps our people and yours could work together." The council members looked at each other, communicating in glances that spoke of years of working together. "This valley could support more people," Arya admitted. "We have more land than we currently use, but combining 2 communities is not simple. There would need to be agreements, shared rules, trust built over time." "We understand that," Kira replied. "We are not asking for an immediate answer. We just ask that you consider it. We could be stronger together than we are separately." The council asked them to wait outside while they discussed the matter privately. Kira and her friends sat in the shade of a large tree, nervous about what the decision would be. After an hour, they were called back inside. "We have decided," Arya announced, "that we will send representatives back with you to your valley. They will meet with your elders and see your situation for themselves. If our representatives believe your people would be good neighbors, and if your elders agree to our terms, we will welcome you here. But this must be a partnership, not a rescue. Both communities must contribute and compromise. Kira felt hope surge in her chest. "Thank you. This is more than we could have hoped for." Drake, who had been standing in the corner, stepped forward. "I will lead the representatives. We leave tomorrow. The journey will be faster now that you know the way." That night, Kira couldn't sleep. She walked through the volcanic valley, looking at the houses and gardens, imagining her people living here. She thought about Senna's tree village and wondered if all three communities might someday find ways to help each other. As she walked, she met a young woman about her own age, sitting by one of the hot springs. "I'm sorry," Kira said. "I didn't mean to disturb you." "You're not disturbing me," the woman replied with a friendly smile. "I'm Lena. I heard about you, the girl who traveled through the outer lands to find us." That was very brave. They talked for a while, and Kira learned that Lena was training to be a healer. She knew many things about plants and medicine that Kira had never heard of. "If our communities joined together," Lena said thoughtfully, "we could teach each other so much. Your people might know things we don't, and we certainly have knowledge we could share." The next morning, Drake selected 5 people to accompany them back to Kira's valley. The journey back was faster because they knew the route and the safest places to travel. They stopped at Senna's tree village along the way, and Kira introduced everyone. Senna was excited to learn about the volcanic valley and asked if her people might also be able to join the new community someday. "One step at a time," Drake said, but he didn't say no. When they finally approached Kira's valley, 9 days after they had left, the scouts on the boundary saw them coming. Word spread quickly, and by the time they reached the settlement, the entire community had gathered. Elder Maya rushed forward and embraced Kira tightly. "You came back," she whispered. "Thank the ancestors, you came back." "I told you I would, grandmother," Kira said, holding her close. "And I brought hope with me." The Council of Elders met with Drake and his representatives that same day. Kira sat with them, explaining everything they had seen and learned. She told them about Senna's tree village and the volcanic valley, about the different ways people had learned to survive in the outer lands. The negotiations took 3 days. There were many questions and concerns. How would resources be shared? Who would make decisions? What would happen if the two communities disagreed about something important? But Elder Maya, wise from her many years, helped guide the discussions. "We are not so different," she told both groups. "We all want safety for our children, food on our tables, and peace in our lives. If we focus on what unites us rather than what divides us, we can find a way forward." On the 3rd day, an agreement was reached. The people of the valley would begin moving to the volcanic valley in small groups over the next 2 months. They would bring their skills, their knowledge, and their willingness to work hard. In return, they would become equal members of the new combined community, with rights and responsibilities the same as everyone else. But there was one more condition that Drake insisted on. "Some of your people should stay here," he said, "at least for a while. If the wall can be repaired, this valley should not be abandoned. It could serve as an outpost, a place to grow extra food, or to retreat to if we ever face danger at the volcanic valley. The elders agreed this was wise. A group of volunteers, including Tam, decided to stay behind and work on reinforcing the northern wall. If they could repair it, the valley would remain a safe place. The migration began 2 weeks later. Elder Maya was in the first group, along with Kira. As they walked through the mountains for the last time, Elder Maya held her granddaughter's hand. "You did something I never thought possible," she said quietly. "You brought our people together with others. You gave us a future. Our ancestors did the same thing when they came here," Kira replied. "I just followed their example." When they arrived at the volcanic valley, they found that the residents had prepared houses for them and organized a welcoming celebration. That night, people from both communities gathered around a great fire, sharing food and stories. Kira sat between her grandmother and Lena, listening to the different voices blending together, telling stories of the past and dreams of the future. She thought about how afraid she had been when she first left the valley and how that fear had transformed into courage and then into hope. Over the next months, the two communities slowly became one. There were challenges and disagreements, but there was also cooperation and friendship. People learned from each other, sharing knowledge about farming, healing, building, and surviving in a world dominated by dinosaurs. Kira became a bridge between the original residents and the newcomers, helping to smooth over difficulties and find compromises. She also began training as a scout, learning the lands around the volcanic valley and exploring new areas. 6 months after the migration, Tam and the others who had stayed behind sent word that they had successfully repaired the northern wall. The original valley was safe again, and they were using it to grow crops that thrived in its particular climate. A year after leaving her old home, Kira stood on the rim of one of the ancient volcanoes, looking out over the valley below. She could see the houses of the combined community, the fields where they grew food, and the people, her people now, working together. She thought about Senna and the tree village. A delegation was planned for next month to invite them to join the growing alliance of communities. Perhaps someday there would be many such villages, all connected, all helping each other survive and thrive in this dangerous but beautiful world. A sound made her turn. Lena was climbing up to join her, carrying 2 cups of tea from the hot springs. "I thought you might want some company," Lena said, handing her a cup. They sat together in comfortable silence, watching the sun begin to set. In the distance, they could see a herd of long-necked dinosaurs moving peacefully across the plains. And overhead, flying reptiles soared on the evening winds. "Do you ever miss your old valley?" Lena asked. Kira thought about it. "Sometimes," she admitted. "But I've learned that home isn't just a place. It's the people you're with and the future you're building together. This is my home now, our home." As darkness fell, lights began to appear in the valley below as people lit their lamps and fires. Kira felt her grandmother's words echo in her mind, words she had shared just that morning. "Our ancestors ran from danger and found safety. You ran toward danger and found hope. That is how we survive. That is how we grow. Kira smiled, knowing that her grandmother was right. The journey that had begun with fear and necessity had led to something better than she could have imagined. Not just a new home, but a new way of living, built on cooperation and understanding. The last valley had become the first of many valleys, and together they were building something that would last for generations to come. In a world of giants and dangers, the humans had found their strength not in hiding or fighting alone, but in coming together, learning from each other, and creating communities that could face whatever challenges lay ahead. And somewhere in the distant future, Kira knew, children would sit by their fires and listen to stories about the brave girl who left the safety of the only home she had ever known and helped build a new world, a world where humans and dinosaurs shared the land, and where different communities of people had learned that together they were stronger than they ever could be alone.